This is Season 6 of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Is it a good idea to teach our children sex education?
What? What the hell is a Whipple Tickle? I'm Nick.
Probably sex education.
I'm still Nick.
And I'm Roy. And welcome to Season 6, Episode number 4, where we scour the internet and other sources to find useless information just for you.
Plus, we will answer your questions from our Mailbag segment and the headline from news from around the world. An unruly passenger at a Florida airport, where else, has a lot of baggage.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
Sports. Play ball.
I have my pom-poms today so that we can do this.
That's very woke of you, but go ahead.
I did wake up this morning. Racing bikes do not have brakes. A track bicycle or a track bike is a bicycle optimized for racing at a velodrome or outdoor track.
But they have no brakes?
Nope. Unlike road bicycles, the track bike is a fixed gear bicycle. Therefore, it only has a single gear ratio and has either a freewheel. It has neither a freewheel nor brakes. The tires are narrow and inflated to high pressure to reduce rolling resistance. So no brakes.
No brakes. So that if the guy doesn't know the race is over, he just goes right off the track.
It keeps going, yeah.
Into the audience.
Maybe that's how the Tour de France started. They just kept going because they couldn't stop.
Yesterday, I had the highlight of meeting some guy that won some big golf tournament down here. And I said to him something that was learned on the show, and I'm going to share it again today.
Okay.
I said to him, you've hit how many golf balls? He says, thousands and thousands. I said, really? He said, yeah. He goes, I mean, I don't even know how many thousands. I've teed off, at the driving ranges for since I'm a kid. I said, great. You've hit that ball thousands, tens of thousands of times. How many dimples are on the golf ball?
Oh, you asked him that. Okay.
Yeah. And I said, and if you can't answer it, you have to listen to our show. So he is listening today. 350 dimples are on a golf ball.
Wow. I bet you he's going to listen to our show, and then he's going to count the dimples.
And his name is Rich. I will not give his last name.
No, of course not. No, because he's still counting dimples.
He won a big purse. It matched his shoes.
It's European. Speaking of ironing, the official explanation of extreme ironing, it's a sport, and it's according to the Extreme Ironing Bureau. It is the latest danger sport that combines the thrills of an extreme outdoor activity and the satisfaction of a well-pressed shirt.
What? I mean, what do they do? They're ironing and like...
This is what they do. I'm glad you asked. See, you asked the right questions here. You listen.
Yeah, this I gotta hear.
Ironing boards are taken to virtually anywhere you can think of. Caves, forests, waterfalls, out on kayaks, and even in New York City. Now, that's dangerous. And while they do these sports, they iron. The sports originated in Britain and has actually gotten a surprising amount of media coverage. Wild ironing.
Wild ironing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They put like special sports wrap on their starch bottles.
That's right. Gentlemen, start your starch bottles.
That's funny. Nick and I knew a girl in high school. Her name was Ironing Board. But anyway. I think her second name, she had an AK, what do you call that? An AKA? Yeah, AKA.
Yeah.
She had an AKA, Flatty Patty. But anyway.
You should see her now.
When pitched, an average Major League Baseball rotates how many times before the catcher catches it at the plate?
Well, all right. So the baseball, the baseball, I would say, is between 90 and 100 miles per hour. I don't know. I'm going to take a wild guess. 65.
Oh, no. It rotates 15 times.
Oh, okay.
Before it reaches the catcher. If the catcher didn't get it and it went into the stands, it would have rotated close to 60 times.
So see, I was right.
Yes.
See? I watch a lot of baseball. You know, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
from
how-
the Nick usually pitches into the stands.
I'm part of the promotions department. I give away souvenirs. Hey, if you're into this, and most of us are, outhouse racing.
Love it.
Mackinac City, Michigan hosts a series. It's a series of outhouse races every year. The event is billed as, quote, the best case of the runs you'll ever have.
Mm-hmm.
It was Greg Big G Yoder who first commissioned the event.
Greg Big G Yoder.
Yeah, that's right. Now, here are the rules. They require each racing outhouse to contain a toilet seat and a toilet paper dispenser. There can only be 2 pushers, 2 pullers, and 1 rider per outhouse.
2 pushers.
2
What are they pushing out?
2 pushers, 2 pullers, and 1 rider, and it's mounted on skis.
One of the pushers has to sit inside the outhouse, and all you hear is.
You've heard of grunting in tennis. Here in the outhouse race, you go.
Yeah, I had a one of those outhouses put in one of those races. I had it all done up real nice, and it had a name for it. It was called Manor. Manor.
Sure. It was a challenging sport, by the way, but you don't want to wipe out. The races.
Oh, no.
The races brought more than 500 people to town for the hee-hawing and never-ending bathroom jokes, of course, and there were prizes. Trophies were given out in the form of toilet seats, and there were gold.
Yes.
There were the prizes awarded: gold, silver, and bronze.
I'm sure the families were very proud of
They
their
were.
children that one.
Yeah.
My son won a toilet seat. Oh, wonderful. He was a pusher, you know.
Yeah.
In New York, when you were a pusher, you went away for drugs.
Here you win a trophy.
But you got a toilet seat.
Right.
It was made out of stainless steel.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Maryland,
Yeah.
which is a very small state in the United States if you live in Canada. Maryland has a state sport unlike any other in the United States. Their state sport is jousting.
Okay.
Not fencing, but jousting.
There's a difference.
Yeah, jousting is like with the long one, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, I mean that's a dangerous sport.
Well, is there an ironing board attached to it?
Well, apparently there's hundreds of people in Maryland that do jousting, and then the year after that there's like 50% less, but then they get more recruits. Who the hell is jousting in this time of that's a medieval thing.
It is, and why wouldn't you just go fencing? I mean,
Well, fencing is different. I mean, fencing you can kind of, but jousting, like how do they get to the place with their jousting thing? It's got to be 20 feet long.
I don't know. Those people in Maryland, although we do welcome those people who are listening in Maryland. We are in over 60 countries, and the United States is one of them. So those of you who are listening in Maryland, thank you very much.
Yes, and I
listening.
want to say hi to my friends that I met at a show last night. For those of you that don't know, I entertain. So I did a show last night and had an entire table of Canadians from Toronto.
Right on. Hello. Of course, I am in Toronto, yeah.
So of course I did Bryan Adams for them.
Nice.
And what's his name? Bublé.
Good. Good for you. Little CanCon, Canadian content. Thank you very much. If you're going to go traveling this summer, may we recommend, because, you know, we like to do travel here, even though we're in the sports section of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, you go to East Dublin, Georgia. The Summer Redneck Games.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of the many games played, one of them is Mud Pit Belly Flop.
Okay, wait a second now. The Summer Redneck Games. Is this played directly after the outhouse games?
Probably, because they
you
have
win a toilet seat as well, but go ahead.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because one of the games that they play is a toilet seat game that's played like horseshoes.
Oh, no.
Okay. There's also bobbing for pig's feet.
Bobbing for pig's feet.
Right, of course, and a hubcap discus throw.
Which beats bobbing for pigtails.
Yes, that's over in Atlanta, Georgia.
I know that could be, you know,
Yeah, there you
bad
go.
scene, you know.
So the Redneck Summer Games, really bad, in East Dublin, Georgia. So this summer, if you want to go somewhere really nice, check it out. The Redneck Summer Games.
Oh yeah, so you got a whole bunch of great sports: outhouse racing,
Yeah.
pig's knuckle grabbing,
No, that's different.
going after pig's tails. Yeah.
Especially the people in Maryland.
And that was what we used to say about Nick in high school. He was chasing pigs' tails.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I'm follically
No
challenged.
offense to the girls at Christopher Columbus High School.
None at all. None taken.
You guys love hockey, don't you?
Of course. It is not, by the way, it's not the national sport of Canada. Lacrosse is the official sport of Canada.
Yeah, two boring sports. But anyway, lacrosse is nothing but hockey with the ice melting.
Right.
But did you know what the Stanley Cup is, right?
Of course I do, yeah.
Okay. And you've seen the Stanley Cup, correct?
I have. I visited the Hockey Hall of Fame here in Toronto, so if you want to come up to
And
Toronto.
it's that it's 3 feet high, the
Yes.
Stanley Cup.
Yes.
The original first Stanley Cup that was given for the award
Mm-hmm.
was 7.5 inches high.
Just a little cup which is now the cup at the
It
top,
was-
but that was it.
Yeah, it was that small cup at the top of the actual trophy, but they realized that they wanted to make this game more, and that other sports had these big cups that they would give out, big trophies, and so they increased the size to 3 feet.
And they kept adding rings to it. Well, after you visited East Dublin, Georgia, come up to Toronto and visit the
Yeah.
Hockey Hall of Fame. As you're
Hockey Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Right next to the Outhouse Hall of Fame.
Right. NickandRoy.com/birthdays. If you have a special loved one that's having a birthday soon, send us, go to the page, NickandRoy.com/birthdays, fill out the form, and for a reasonable price, Roy and I will put together totally useless facts about
It's
that.
a great gift.
that
It really,
person's
it's just a great gift.
It's unique.
People remember it,
They
and
share
it's
it.
inexpensive. It's
Exactly.
inexpensive, and done by two big stars like Nick and I.
Right. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Step right up here. Step right up, folks. Don't be shy. Move it. Totally useless information with Nick and Roy present Games People Play.
So we did.
If you want to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
and then visit the Outhouse Hall of Fame, instead of buying tickets, you just make a deposit.
Please deposit here.
Where do they go to listen to our show, Nick?
They go to nickandroy.com. You can check out all of our library of episodes there, nickandroy.com, or you can go to the iHeartRadio app on the iHeartRadio network, because we're on radio on the iHeartRadio Talk Network. And
Where else are people going to hear this stuff?
they're also going to hear it, well,
No, I mean honestly.
anywhere- anywhere
Nick, we're
you-
doing a public service thing here.
we are. We anywhere you have podcasts. If you're listening to us, you've downloaded us on your favorite podcast platform.
We're educating thousands of useless people every day.
That's why we say listen, laugh, and learn. And you're going to
Just
be
go on our website and look at us.
right. And you're going to learn lots. So here's some board games that didn't quite make it to the Board Game Hall of Fame. Mr. Bacon's Adventure Board Game. 2009.
Bacon.
Yeah, Mr. Bacon's Adventure Board Game, 2009. You take Mr. Bacon on a journey through Meatland, okay, where you have to sail across Sausage Sea, past the Wiener Wasteland, go to get safely to the Great Frying Pan.
What's the prize if you win? You get porked?
You get pigtailed. You might say every time you play this game, wait, why are we playing this game again? Mr. Bacon's Adventure Board Game.
Oh, wow. I like that game.
Yeah,
That's not a bad thing.
it's not.
I have a lot about video games today.
Okay, cool.
And I don't know much about video games, but this was very interesting to me. The video game Sim City, which I have heard of,
Right.
where you build your own city. SimCity 2000 has a major distinction, and it has an entire full exhibit in the New York City Museum of Modern Art.
Oh,
So they took scenes from the video game, blew them up into art pieces, and you can see them at the New York City Museum of Modern Art. They're considered, this will just give you an idea how the kids today, we really have a problem.
Yeah. And then when they get home, they can play another board game that didn't quite make it to the Board Game Hall of Fame, Mall Madness from 1989.
Mall Madness.
An electronic voice tells you where all the sales are in the mall, and then you go there and you buy things. If you run out of money, don't worry, just go to the bank and get some more. The first person to buy 6 items and makes it to the parking lot wins.
Okay. Like, would I be out of turn if I was to say, I want to buy 6 weenies and a sausage?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because some of the fake stores that are in this Mall Madness board game, Aunt Chovy's Pizza, Scratchy's Records, Chips Computers, Fork It Over Kitchen Store, and Ding-a-Ling Phones.
Yeah, the old ding-a-ling phone. You want to put that right close to your mouth.
No, I'm glad that even though this is an awful board game, gives me an opportunity to tell you, as you're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, if your business is a cleverly named business, send us an email and we'll put you on the show. If you go to nickandroy.com, click on Contact Us, and you send us the name of your unique business name, a really cool business name. And the examples we've used in the past is the Merchant of Tennis, and the furniture store, the Shack of Sit. So if you have a really clever business name, send it to us in an email, nickandroy.com, and we'll be happy to put your business name on the show, no charge at all, free of charge. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So
Rockstar Game Company.
Yes.
Big video game company.
Yeah.
They are the people that came out with the game Grand Theft Auto.
Great popular game, yeah?
Yeah, very, very violent game. I've actually played that game.
Yeah.
It does get you. You want to do it, but you actually meet like hookers and drug dealers, and you meet real thugs and gang members in the street, and you can beat them up, crash into them, run them over. I mean, it's just something that we used to do on a Saturday night in New York. But Rockstar Game Company wanted their Grand Theft Auto 5 to be so realistic that they went to California and hired real-life gang members to do the background voices of the actual gang members in the game. Now, I don't remember them saying very much other than, whoa, what's up, things like that. But, but then again, I guess that's what a gang member would say, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wouldn't exactly go, hello, how are you? And how's the weather?
How's the weather? What a finely pressed shirt you have. You must have gone to the Wild Arning board games.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, here's a board game that from 1960 that didn't quite make it to the Hall of Fame of board games, Spin the Bottle.
Oh.
Now, of course, we all remember Spin the Bottle as kids, right, as teenagers. But this is a board game that lets you play the same kissing game, but with your whole family.
Oh, okay. Where's this game from?
It's I don't know where it's from, but it's from 1960. That's the year that it came out. But
this is not a Canadian game.
No, it's not a Canadian game. So
because you never know, you're pinned in by snow for months at a time.
No.
You might
it's
start
not,
kissing people in your family. I don't know.
So yes, this is Spin the Bottle from 1960 that did not make the Board Game Hall of Fame.
It's just a family game. Spin the bottle.
Right.
Some mixed up psychopath with a taboo problem. Spin the bottle. Okay, with your family. Yeah. I really, that's disgusting. I like this one.
Okay.
The video game Batman Arkham City, very big video game, has multiple hidden references to the TV show Lost. Have you ever watched the show Lost?
No, I never followed it.
No, neither did I, but of course it was a very big show. And inside the game, you'll see all these little hidden things like on billboards and on what should be store signs are references to the show Lost. So I was so lost that I didn't know what they were.
Right.
Okay, but this is the thing I thought was really cool from the game Batman Arkham City. There is the Joker. We all know the Batman's foe is the Joker, right?
Right.
He's the bad guy. Guess who voiced his voice?
I would probably guess Jack Nicholson because he was the Joker in one of the movies.
Mark Hamill from Star Wars.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
That's
Mark Hamill is
the
voice of the Joker in Batman Arkham City.
I love that. That's pretty cool. I would have guessed,
Yeah.
I did guess Jack Nicholson because he was in one of the Batman movies, of course.
Yeah, he was the Joker in Batman.
Here's my final entry of the board game that did not make the Board of Game Hall of Fame from 1967, Feely Mealy. Feely Mealy.
Oh, no.
And here's the game. You put your hand...
Does this have anything to do with the spin the bottle?
Well, it could be. Put your hand...
It's an advanced spin the bottle.
This is what you do. You put your hand in a dark hole...
Oh, no.
And try to figure out what you're feeling. What could possibly...
Sounds like high school.
What could possibly go wrong? Feely mealy. Here, put your hand in the dark hole and figure out what you're
Does
feeling.
the game come with the dark hole?
No, the dark hole is sold separately.
So that was from 1960.
1967.
I thought we didn't find out about black holes until the 90s.
Well, apparently maybe that's why this board game didn't go anywhere. No one knew what a dark hole
So
was.
it's a dark, black, moist hole that you stick your hand in.
They didn't say it was moist, but if it is, you're playing a different game. Hey,
I'm sorry.
wait a minute. Listen, how about this? What a great segue. Here's our next topic. As you're listening. No, you have one more?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So hold that thought for a moment because we'll come back to this. So hold on. Okay, just hold on. Roy, give your last fact, and then we'll go back to the moist, dark hole, and you'll understand why this is a segue.
It's
Go
where I
on.
like to spend my time. Real life has no scenes. It has no scenes. It has no, when you think of a movie, there's cuts and takes and scene changes.
Right, of course.
But real life isn't like that. We go to the next scene. We don't stop. We don't say cut and then the whole life stops. Life is continuous.
Right.
And so video games never get that feeling because there's always like a stopping point and then you go to the next level or the next scene,
Right.
And so on. Well, somebody in 2018 said, we are going to make a video game that you're going to start and it's going to continue until it ends. So it never changes scenes. It never goes to another level. You start and it keeps going because they wanted it to be more like real life. And the game is called God of War, which is kind of an oxymoron because God would be God of peace, but they called it God of War, I guess, to get that surrealistic type, thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's continuous, one continuous scene from the start to the end of the game. And of course, if it takes you longer time, you're the one shutting the game off.
Yeah, and you lose, right? And I mean,
yes. They're off. The race is over, and you lose.
And you lose. For those of you who are Abbott and Costello fans, look it up on the Google machine. You'll find out what we're talking about. So I mean, some people, when they play Monopoly, it seems like it's the game that never ends. But this game was designed. It's pretty cool. So let's go back to what we're referencing to. As you're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. That made no grammatical sense, but what the heck? You're listening to useless information. What did you expect?
Right.
What a great segue. You're talking about put your hand in a warm, moist...
Yeah, put your hand in the old dark hole. That's what your game.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All about sex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are lawyers out there and paralegals, this one's for you.
The following segment of the Totally Useless Information podcast may be too sultry and too sexy for some listeners.
Listener discretion is advised. Everyone, just remind everybody that this is a PG-13. We do not go over the line. However, you listen, laugh, and learn. Roy, what are you going to teach us today in terms of sex?
A woman's egg is fertile for up to 6 days, depending upon her cycle, her menstrual cycle.
Okay.
So her actual egg is fertile for 6 days. Now, that's interesting, but did you know that a male's sperm drifting around in the area can last up to 5 days and fertilize that female's egg 5 days from the dirty deed?
So it hangs around for 5 days.
Yep, could fertilize the egg 5 days later.
So he's kind of hanging around. He's hanging around like Grand Theft Auto, hanging around.
No, not hanging around. He's swimming. Doing the
that's right,
backstroke.
the backstroke.
Probably doing the backstroke because he didn't make it there fast enough.
Right.
Either that or just doggy paddling around.
Different positions. So apparently, there are some studies that show, and I'll get to my next fact here. This is going to be a great segue. Just sit down if you're not sitting down already. Okay.
I am.
Okay. All right. So they say that in order for a couple to get pregnant, it's helpful if the woman experiences an orgasm. Okay, it helps things along. Now, some women, they experience different types of orgasms. Let me tell you about the synesthesia.
Getting deep here, Nick.
Deep and dark and moist. Synesthesia is when you hear music, but you see shapes.
Synesthesia.
That's when you hear music, but you see shapes. Or you hear a word or name, and you instantly see a color. Synesthesia is a fancy name for when you experience one of your senses through another. I'll give you another example. You might hear the name Alex and see the color green. Or you might read the word street and you taste citrus fruit. In a recent study, some women during sex see white and green light in the periphery of her vision. Many people experience what is referred to as orgasm synesthesia, a condition which causes people to see colors when they orgasm.
Yeah, when I was younger, we would go out to clubs and things like that, and I had this one girl tell me, she was like, wow, during sex with you, I saw flashing lights. And then we realized we were actually still on the dance floor, much to our surprise.
It was, and to the people surrounding you, saying, what the heck are they doing? There were 572 people in this study, and it was described in a book, Synesthesia, Perspectives from the Cognitive Neuroscience. 1.2
That sounds official.
Synesthesia, Perspectives from a Cognitive Neuroscience. 1.2% of people with synesthesia, a more general condition, in about 4% of the population where a taste can take on a shape and sounds can smell, among other things, and they can see colors when they orgasm. So orgasm synesthesia.
It's like when you see a pig's tail, you normally taste, but okay. Close enough.
Yes.
During ovulation, a woman's temperature can increase from a normal 96 or 98 to between 97 and 99. So listen, the sayings are normally true, like the old folktale sayings.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman's ovulating, she's hot. she's truly hot.
She's hot. She's hot to trot.
Yeah. What are you, back to the pig reference?
Yeah. So here's my teaser. What is a Whipple Tickle?
Ooh, the old Whipple Tickle.
The G-spot was almost called the Whipple Tickle after its discoverer, Dr. Beverly Whipple. But Whipple decided to name it after Dr. Ernst Grafenberg, the first person.
Yeah, that sounds like Whipple Tickle.
Yeah,
go ahead.
But because Dr. Ernst Grafenberg was the first person to propose the existence of a uniquely sensitive region, the G-spot. So they decided to name it the G-spot after Dr. Ernst Grafenberg, because his last name begins with the letter G. Yeah.
G. But rather than say the Grafenberg. But I've heard it called the Grafenberg spot.
Have you?
I originally, when that came out, it was called the Grafenberg spot, and then they just called it the G spot, I guess, because people couldn't say the word Grafenberg.
Right.
I don't know.
There you go. But it was almost called the Whipple Tickle, so thank goodness for that.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't call it the Whipple Tickle. I thought when you said Whipple Tickle, you were talking about the pig's tail. But
back to the pig's tail. Oh, wow.
It all comes back to the bacon. Okay. In 2011, scientists found that penile cancer, most men that have penile cancer, because if a woman has penile cancer, it's a real problem.
It is.
In 2011, scientists found that penile cancer, get ready, Nick, penile cancer in men is linked to having sex with pigs.
No.
Yes.
No.
With pigs, horses, and chickens. Now, I was expecting, like, what? No cats or dogs? Okay, but chickens. So we do really have to understand who's having this sex. It's normally like Farmer Joe. Yeah. He's like, no, honey, I'll go get the eggs this morning. And all you hear is, just going to ride the horse down there.
Yeah.
Honey, you get on top of the horse to ride it, not behind it.
Maybe he had the book
Want
up.
some bacon? Want some bacon too?
Yeah, when he went out to get the bacon, he brought home the bacon. Wow.
She's like, why are you touching his Whipple Tickle?
Yeah. He wanted to fertilize the egg of the chicken. That's how dumb Farmer Brown was. Well,
Wow.
well, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you saw the fine print in the information you just gave. When Farmer Brown was asked, because he also had some sheep on his farm, and when he had, had some relations with the sheep, they asked him if there were any side effects. He said, nah.
Listen, this is crazy stuff. Okay, so I mean, if you have penile cancer, the doctor's gonna be like, "Yeah, you didn't have sex with chickens."
Yeah, it's the only way you can get this cancer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It has to do with chickens. I love chicken parmesan. I hope that doesn't happen to me.
Me too. Of course, listen, laugh, and learn. But as we like to say, Roy and I are not doctors. If you are suspecting that you have if you're suspecting that your significant other is having sex with these animals, call the authorities. Do you practice gymnophoria? Gymnophoria.
I do. Yeah, 20 minutes a day.
No, not that kind of thing. The sense gymnophoria.
I pay $19 for it too a month. It's a membership.
Gymnophoria is the sense that someone is mentally undressing you.
This is what I worry about when Nick's looking at me here on Zoom.
or that a person is viewing you naked even though you're fully clothed.
And the funny part is all I have is a shirt on. I have no pants. We already know that I do the show naked from the waist down.
Right. And if you go back to the beginning of this show, you'll hear there were chickens clucking, and now they're not clucking anymore.
Yeah, so go to nickandroy.com. You might be surprised at what you see. Did you know that, now this was my teaser.
Okay.
We think that it's a good idea to teach our children sex ed.
Yeah.
Well, scientists did a study, and they found that when they teach children sex ed, they are 75% more likely to have underage sex. Because basically they're teaching them how to do the whole mystery. Come on, think about it, Nick. It was a mystery to us. We had to talk amongst each other to figure out what the hell was going on. If they had told us what to do, we would have been light years ahead.
Exactly. So
it was a good thing we lived in the city and not on a farm. We'd have penile cancer by now.
I have to share this story, and I do it out of the tremendous love I have for my mother. I mean, she's passed on, but may she rest in peace. But God bless her. So I was in grade 7, which I was, 12, in junior high school. And
actually, Nick was like 35 in grade 7.
Okay,
but go ahead.
And so they first introduced sex education in school. And so they sent a letter home, and she wanted to make sure that the information they were giving that was proper. She wanted to make sure. And I'm glad she did. But when you're in grade 12 and your mother comes to talk to the teacher, it was kind of embarrassing. But I'm glad she did. But here's the thing. There was this girl, a really cute girl in front of me. Her name was Tammy. Never forget. And she said, listen, Nick, don't worry. If your mom doesn't let you in on the class, I'll show you everything you need to know. So Tammy was going to help me with the sex ed. She was going to show me.
You.
Yeah, but show me her notes. Her notes that she was taking.
Oh, she wanted to show you her notes. I thought she wanted to show you everything.
No, not her Whipple Tickle, but she wanted to show me her notes.
But then again, how do you know that, Nick? Did you go to the class?
I did. No, I did, and I learned.
I would have said no way that I'm going to that class because I'm going to see what Tammy's got.
She probably has better stuff than Mr. What's his name.
Meet you after school, Tammy. Got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah,
Can we go over that again and again?
It's a pop quiz.
Yeah, pop quiz, pop-up quiz.
And that's when pop-up books were born. Okay. that would be hysterical. An X-rated pop-up book. You open up the book.
And the pig's tail comes out. It all comes back to the pig.
Oh, the pig's tail. Oh, God.
Oh,
You know what? Come to think of it, Tammy did have pigtails. She did.
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's right.
Listen, in France in the 1500s, women could charge their husbands with impotence. To prove his innocence, he would have to become erect in the courtroom. If he failed, he could demand a trial by Congress and attempt to have sex with his wife in front of the experts. Yeah, there's no performance anxiety there.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Although some people are into that,
Yeah.
you know? So maybe the guy had an impotence problem, but he was like, you mean all these people are going to watch? Watch this.
Now, apparently, there must have been many mistrials due to a well-hung jury. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you joining us on our journey.
Is anybody listening anymore?
Oh, yes, they are. Listen, they're writing stuff. They're feverishly writing down all the notes because you listen, laugh, and learn. And you can go to our website, like many of you have, and thank you, and you click on Contact Us, and you can send us an email. nickandroy.com.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
I sound like a girl.
What? When you sang that? That's a great jingle.
Kathy from New London, Connecticut.
Okay.
I think this is the second person from New London, Connecticut that I read. Went through a lot of emails. Thank you, folks. nickandroy.com for sending in your emails.
Mm-hmm.
Again, send them in. You'll get on the show. Make them pithy.
Are you have a lisp all of a sudden?
No, I said make them pithy.
Oh, pithy. Okay.
Yes, pithy, meaning quite funny.
Yeah, I know.
Or interesting.
I know what that means. You know, I thought you'll have like a pithy match.
No. No, I'm not going to have a pithing match with you. So she says, and I love this one, and there's nothing else to say after I read it. She says, thanks. My son has Down syndrome.
Okay.
And the one show that he loves is your show. He just says he loves it.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so very much. I think that is the best email that we've ever gotten.
That is very touching and very moving. Thank you so very much. That is so...
Kathy from New London.
Kathy, we have a good time. We laugh. We hope you're laughing with us. But when it comes to something like that, when we're able to reach out to someone like that, it is absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we are absolutely thrilled.
And Kathy, I know that you put this really heartfelt email to us. But one thing I'd like you to do is get back to us with your son's name so we can say it on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be thrilled again. My mailbag consists of someone from Catalina. Catalina is her name, from North Carolina. Catalina from North Carolina. Okay.
Oh.
Dear Nick and Roy, I've always been a fan of Mardi Gras in New Orleans. My question to you is, are specific colors used in Mardi Gras celebrations? Well, thank you, Catalina. It's a good question, and we're just about in Mardi Gras season.
Have you ever been to New Orleans?
No, I have not, but I know you have been recently, actually.
Yes. Loved it. A lot of fun. Real seedy and certain, but a cool type of seedy. It's meant to be that way.
Yeah.
And just if you folks are listening, get a chance, go to Nashville, New Orleans. They're great places.
So we've given
Sorry.
you, no, it's okay. We've given you travel tips. East Dublin, Georgia, Toronto, Nashville, and New Orleans. Since 1872, Catalina, the official colors of Mardi Gras have been purple, green, and gold. Purple for justice, green for faith, and gold for power. During the parades, face masks and coverings are legally required for those who ride on the Mardi Gras floats. It has nothing to do with COVID-19. This is just, they've been doing this since they had parade floats. It began...
I think the master of ceremonies is Dr. Fauci.
No, it's not. So wearing the mask or having the mandatory wearing of masks on the floats, it began as a way to prevent people from revealing their identity during the Mardi Gras season, which allowed people from all different backgrounds and social classes to mingle regardless of status or wealth. And today, of course, the tradition is upheld. And by the way, Mardi Gras is not just a one-day celebration. It's actually carnival season, and it begins on January 6th.
Crazy,
also known
man.
as 12th Night, and officially ends on Fat Tuesday, which Roy and
Yeah,
I...
Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
Listen, it's crazy. Women expose themselves for beads, and the people are up like a second floor. They're on these porch areas or whatever you want to call them. They're beautiful iron decorated, like, fencing around them.
What do they call them? Hold on, they call them Juliet terraces.
Juliet balconies
Juliet
or
balconies,
whatever. Yeah, they're balconies, right?
Yeah.
And so they throw these beads down. The women lift their shirts up and throw the beads down.
Wow.
Which to me, I tell you, after about 15 minutes of staring at it, I needed to stare at it for another 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
anyway,
And then there was staring.
It's really fun. And listen, oysters, the food there is just insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
That real Creole food. But oysters, I think my wife and I ate, I honestly, all joking aside, I think we ate about 8 dozen or 10 dozen oysters in a couple of days.
Wow.
It's just so freaking good. Needless to say, I did not have to go in front of the judge.
And thank God
Don't worry,
there weren't,
folks. Think about it.
Yeah. Thank God there were no chickens in New Orleans. So go to our website, nickandroy.com, and send us an email.
And now for something completely useless.
A Lego brick made in 1960 will fit perfectly with a Lego brick from today.
Well, they're all made the same.
They have a uniform system. So if you had a Lego brick from 1960 and you are to connect with the Lego brick made today, it will fit perfectly.
That was my favorite game. Honestly, Legos. Yeah, my mom bought me for Christmas. It came in a red suitcase.
Oh, okay.
And they were filled with Legos, and I played with that for, I can't even tell you how much I played with them. I used to throw them around so that my mom would step on them and go, "Wow!"
A bugger that you were. There you go.
That'll teach you. Okay. Speaking about sex, just segue in.
Yeah, sure.
A pig's tail. No. Okay. Speaking about sex, there is a real Spanish fly.
Oh.
Now, you've heard this term Spanish fly. You put in somebody's drink and they got sexually excited. Well, there is a real Spanish fly. It's called the blister bug.
Okay.
Okay. And the excretion that the blister bug makes. So if you get a blister bug, I guess you can continuously get the stuff, which is nothing more than like an outhouse contest. It's the excretion from the bug. When applied to the penis, it has a very quick burning sensation.
Oh.
And then I guess it has an arousal portion to it. But that's the real Spanish fly. It's called the blister bug. For those of you who want to get some, go to nickandroy.com.
Order yours today.
And bug us.
Today on the show, it seemed like there was a theme. We talked about sports, we talked about games, and we talked about sex.
And pig's tails.
And pig's tails. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
An intoxicated passenger who was barred from boarding an airplane at Orlando's International Airport in Florida, where else? She rode away from the gate on a motorized suitcase as a police officer on a bicycle followed behind her.
She had a motorized suitcase.
Yeah.
Had wheels and a motor.
And right. And she was riding it because she was not allowed on the plane because she was intoxicated. So the Orlando police officer said, quote, "We're going to have a bike pursuing a suitcase in a minute." It's okay. So maybe he called for backup. I don't know.
Ooh.
So he was...
They have them Segways, too.
Chelsea Alston, 32, was later accused of battering the officer and causing more than $1,000 in damage to her patrol car. The court...
So she gets off the motorized luggage.
Eventually, because they had to chase her around the airport. It was like a not a high-speed chase, but a low-speed chase.
Oh, my God. It's Keystone Cops.
If
Go ahead.
If she's convicted, she faces up to 5 years in prison for each offense.
Could you imagine he gets close to her and they're going down the corridors of the airport, smashing into each other like an action film?
An explosion.
I'll never. She's riding a Samsonite.
Of course.
Yeah.
So Alston, who is of course has entered a plea of not guilty, was traveling
God.
from Orlando to New York when a Southwest Airlines gate attendant refused to let her board the plane because she
I would
appeared to
I
be
would like to have been there to hear her.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, we do have some audio. So this is the chase between the cop and her on the motorized
Only here on Totally Useless Information.
in Florida. Here's the audio.
I don't want no beef. I'm just trying to go home and enjoy myself. I'm trying to go home.
See that?
But I've been here for hours.
Yeah, it happens.
I've been here for hours.
Yeah, bad weather. Gotta do something, right?
I don't know what we're going to blame it on, but...
Oh, watch out. Yeah, unfortunately, it's their policy. You just can't be that intoxicated when you fly in a plane, okay?
I'm not that intoxicated.
She's not that intoxicated.
Intoxicated. That's always a good one.
Yeah, you're drunk.
I'm not that intoxicated.
No, she's not that intoxicated. No. Anyway, so.
Oh no.
So eventually, Mamone, which is the cop's name, and Mamone in Italian is like an idiot. He eventually caught up with Alston at the airport's People Mover tram and ordered her to leave the secured area.
Wait a minute. So he got on the rotating floor, which is what they call the People Mover,
right?
To catch up to her because she was on the motorized luggage. So he was probably screaming from the flat escalator, screaming, "I'm catching up to you. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you." She was like, "I'm intoxicated."
It took two. She's intoxicated. It tock 2 officers to put her in handcuffs.
Oh my God!
And then she started hitting him, and then she started spitting at him, and she said, "I only."
This got violent.
She goes, "I only spit once." While sitting in the back of the patrol car, she ripped apart the police vehicle's fabric headliner, and she pooed in the seat, causing an estimated $1,200 in damages.
Maybe she thought she was in the outhouse game.
That's right. Austin was later released from the Orange County Jail on a $13,500 bond, according to records.
Wait a minute. See, I just want the rest of the United States to understand you can do these things in Florida, and we do them a lot.
That's right.
But you pay a big price.
Yeah.
In California or New York, you can basically kill a person and there's no bail.
No.
It's just you get out for free, But here in Florida, you poo in the back of a police car, you're going to get a $13,000 cleaning bill.
Yeah. Talking about doing his duty. That's all the time that we have for this week's episode of Total Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Thank you very much for joining us. And once again, a couple of reminders. If you're a business owner and you'd like Roy and I to record some useless information for your on-hold phone system, send us an email at nickandroy.com and click on Contact Us. We'd love to work with you on that. And also, if you're a business that has a unique name, send us an email, nickandroy.com. Contact us, and we'd love to put your name on the show.
Yeah, and hop on your luggage and ride over to Nick and Roy.
That's right. Are you intoxicated?
I'm not that intoxicated.
She's not that intoxicated.
I like her. Let's get her on the show.
Well, she's out on bail, so maybe she would.
Welcome to Useless Information, Piggy Tail. Yeah.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
I'm not that intoxicated.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is a production of nickandroy.com. Visit nickandroy.com to access the full library of episodes or wherever you get your podcasts.